Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 46, another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. So as ever, let's crack on. First one, if you're in the market for a pair of £4,000 binoculars, then this is for you. Likewise, if you're a bird watcher, then this is for you. So these are the Swarovski AX-VISIO binoculars, and they have AI built in to identify what you're looking at, especially birds. As I say, 9,000 birds are on its databases. It also has databases for mammals and some insects as well, but those are restricted to North America and Europe just because of the database it uses. So there you go. AI in binoculars, pretty cool if you have £4,000. This is Heineken. Well done to Heineken for getting a concept off the ground that I couldn't do about 20 years ago, but I featured this just because somebody's actually done it, so well done. This uses infrared lights to send messages to mobile phones. So the cameras on your phone don't have a particularly good filter on them, especially the selfie camera on the front side of it where your screen is, because they just do away with the infrared lens on that essentially, or the filter. So you can see infrared lights. If you point your remote control at your mobile phone camera, you'll see the light flashing, and that's because it can see the infrared light. So they're using that effect here. They're sending a message to concert goers to put their phones away, because quite frankly, the artists don't like that, and just be present in the concert. So they send the phone message basically through the phone, which is a good way of doing it. I like that, and well done. This is a really good art piece. This is by David Bowen, and he does a bunch of these, so definitely go and check out his Instagram. There's a really good one with plastic bags and things like that. But this is actually using the Mars Perseverance rover weather data. So obviously when it went to Mars, it had a little weather probe, it stuck it out, it measured the wind, and that wind has been converted into this data, which is then using these sort of two-dimensional actuators with a bit of dried grass to then say, if you were on Mars, then this is what the wind would look like. So I think that's really, really cool. It's sort of teleportation, although it's sort of old data, but it's a really good way of showing physicality using data. So I really like that. Well done, David, and definitely go and check out Instagram. Some cool stuff. 126 blades of grass. LG have just had their sort of conference, and they showed a stretchable screen. It's tough to say. So this is the most stretchable screen so far. They've been developing these for a couple of years. I think sort of 2022 was the first one they unveiled. So this is 2 years on, and it now stretches by 50%. So a 12-inch screen now goes to 18 inches, and it can twist and whatnot. It can do that 10,000 times without breaking. So they showed a sort of fashion show where people walking down the runway, but pretty much it was just this kind of strip of stuff in front. So it wasn't particularly impressive, to be honest. They also showed a demo of this kind of display stretched over a form, almost like for a car console, where you could then move your hand on what looked like a bump of a button, but really the display was really just trying to give you the numbers and dials and stuff like that. So you can see where they're going with this, clothing, and especially if you're in sort of the digital display world, then this can be wrapped around buildings and irregular shapes. There you go. Quite interesting. Stretchy screens are coming. Coca Cola have unveiled their latest, although traditional holidays are coming ad, and you'll recognize this. You can probably even hear it in your head. And yes, it does do that, but this is 100% AI generated, and it's gone down like a lead balloon. Nobody likes it. They find it creepy, weird. They find it, basically you should be using creatives and real people rather than these soulless, dead, cold, horrible AI generated characters. So there you go. So that's gone down particularly badly. So note to creative agencies, don't think AI is really going to help you, because customers kind of think AI is taking jobs away, and they're calling it out pretty strongly. Go and have a look at the YouTube video, go and have a look at the comments as a word of warning. Wooden satellites are a thing. This is the world's first. They've been unveiled a couple of years ago, but they've been making one, and it's actually going up to the ISS right now. It might even be there as I record this, and they're going to release it from the ISS and put it into orbit and measure all of its stats, so the temperature and all those sorts of things. So the reason you would want a wooden satellite is all the normal satellites are made out of aluminium, and when they re-enter, they create aluminium oxides, which are really bad for the atmosphere and the planet. So if you can reduce that, then this is pretty much carbon neutral. So that's kind of cool. Now this is made out of magnolia wood instead of the aluminium, and they're going to just release it and measure its temperature, as I said, because when you go in and out of the sun's rays, especially above the atmosphere, then you get extremes of temperature and expansion. So as I say, up at the ISS, they're going to do that and see what happens next. So this might be the future of satellites, especially when you got people like SpaceX or Elon Musk kind of companies putting tens of thousands of these things into low Earth orbit, polluting the place. So this might be the future. And finally, I had the pleasure of spending the last week in Johannesburg, and during one meeting, this promotion was discussed, which I just had to tell you about. It is the GOAT competition. And now in sport, for instance, the GOAT is usually the greatest of all time. So they did a GOAT competition for Gotv. This is part of the MultiChoice group. And yeah, you won an actual goat. So you, in a slightly dystopian twist, you had to go and find these virtual goats using your camera, augmented style. But there, you did actually win a goat. So well done to Stuart, for instance, who was the second winner of the goat in a Lionel Messi shirt. So really, really interesting. But there you go. So I can just imagine the creative meeting where that went on, and they said, hang on a minute, goat? Oh, we should do a goat thing. But there you go. Thought I'd bring that to your attention. Hopefully that was useful. Hopefully it was interesting. If it was, sign up, send it to somebody useful, and I'll send you another one next week. Cheers.